Well, listeners, if you've been a long time listener to our show, you will know that one of Kyle and I's favourite comedians is Jon Walpole, and he is back this year at the Melbourne International Comedy Festival with his great group, Bombastic Joe, and they've got a very special show called That's Not What I Ordered, You Clearly Didn't Listen to Me, which is on at this year's festival. So to find out more about it, we've actually got Jon on the phone right now. Jon, welcome to the program, mate.
Hello, thank you for having me. Yeah, it's funny hearing the title being said out loud.
Now, Jon, like I said, you've become a bit of a favourite comedian for both Kyle and I, who's also involved with this show, and that's because you are an extremely talented guy. So, mate, tell us a little bit about what you've got in store for us at this year's comedy festival.
Thank you, that's very kind. I've got a very busy festival coming up. I don't think I thought ahead enough, but no, it's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, the Bombastic Joe boys, we got back together again, and we're doing a show that's mostly new stuff, and then a couple of old favourites from the last few shows we've done over the few years. So there's something in there for everyone, and it should be a lot of fun. So yeah, very excited to be playing with those fellas again. They're sort of the two guys that I got started into comedy with, and yeah, we always had a lot of fun. So yeah. Looking forward to it.
So you've also got some other shows as well at the festival. Tell us a little bit about your other shows as well.
Yeah, so I also have a new solo show called Butterfly, which is on for 2 weeks at Tasma Terrace in the last couple of weeks of the festival. And then I have a kids show with Jeremiah Detto called Stuff, which we did last year at the Comedy Festival, and yeah, we're bringing it back again this year at Acme. So we're doing that every day of the school holidays as well. So yeah, it's going to be a busy time.
Yeah. So, Jon, tell us a little bit about what it's been like getting back with Bombastic Joe. Like you said, it's been a little while since you guys all worked together. What was that moment like where you actually got back together and started working on new material for this show?
Well, I think we've always, ever since we started, we've always had a lot of fun just making each other laugh. So it's kind of in a lot of ways the same, but I think we're also, it's been a bit of time, and we've seen all sorts of different comedy, and I've been doing my own stuff as well. Just sort of, it's been fun seeing like the new sort of style and new sort of things we're trying out, and new types of ideas, while still sort of keeping what we like to do, which is just like make each other laugh. So. Yeah, it's just been fun coming back to that. But yeah, I think the guys have, like, because my solo shows are probably a little more loose and a little more spontaneous and improvised. It's been cool sort of seeing how we can try and weave that into a Bombastic Joe show as well. So it's been sort of cool blending that together.
So what's that writing process like when you guys are working on a show together? Do you just all bring ideas to the table and then bounce it off each other to see what works and what sticks, or how do you go about that?
Yeah, I mean that's basically how we do it. Yeah, and I think we all sort of bring our different flavors in, which is sort of what makes it work so well. Like, we're all quite different styles and different kinds of humor, so it's nice to sort of bring that in and see how we blend. Like, I'm probably a bit more of a sort of physical performer and a bit more spontaneous and like to improvise, whereas like Ed's definitely the best sort of joke writer of the group, and Ollie is very good at like having sort of big visions on stage, and has a very good like theatrical mind for like how to sort of set up and stage a sketch. So it's interesting how we can kind of all bring things together, and also like help each other build what we've got, sort of with perspectives that we wouldn't have considered on our own.
Yeah.
It's, that's a cool thing that we all sort of complement each other really well.
And I don't know if I've ever asked you this on our show before, but how did you three first meet?
Yeah, we first met, we did the Monash Law Review together a couple of years in a row. And Ed was 2 years below me at school, so I sort of always knew who he was and that he was a very funny guy, and then we ended up doing the law review together, and yeah, I think the three of us just really bonded through that time and writing sketches together, and yeah, and then I was cast into a sketch comedy show in the Comedy Festival the next year, and then I that was my first time experiencing the festival, and I sort of came back with them as we were doing the next law review that they were directing, and I said, we got to do this together, guys, like we got to do this, and and then we did, and then we just kind of kept doing and sort of found our own sort of style with just the three of us and how we would make a show, and so that's how we met.
Yeah, I've always thought what makes your shows so special is that you can tell that you three are having fun as well. Like, there's been times when I've been along to shows and you can tell that it's just a performance, but you can tell from you three that you love what you're doing and that you're entertaining each other as well. Is that something that you notice when you're on stage together, that you do make all three of you laugh as well?
Absolutely. I think it's my favourite thing is to make them laugh while we're on stage. It's just, in my mind, I think any kind of performance on stage, even if it's like a music concert, if they're not having fun on stage, it's not as engaging to watch.
Yep.
So I think that's actually probably the most important thing, is to like see the performer enjoying themselves and having fun. And and I think the cool thing with this new show we're doing is, by sort of going, we're going to do some of our like old favourites from the last two shows we've done while also writing new stuff. It's kind of meant we can just focus on the fun part and not feel like there's pressure to like make a full hour that's really strong and really good. Like, there's less pressure to be focused on like the quality of the show. Obviously the show is good quality, but it's in terms of like where our focus is at, we're more able to just like enjoy it, because there's less sort of pressure on us to develop a full hour in the few months we have of making a show. I think it's been a really, I'm just really looking forward to like just getting up there with them and just having fun with it.
Definitely. So now let's turn our attention to your solo show. Tell us a little bit about what's gone into putting your solo show together and what can people expect from that show?
Butterfly is about me trying to be a complex, profound, beautiful artist that I'm too much of an idiot to really know what that is. So it's kind of just watching an idiot trying to make a sketch comedy show into a work of art. It's sort of this whole built around an idea that I used to be a comedy caterpillar that did lame impressions and jokes and sound effects, and now I make art. But turns out the whole thing is silly jokes. So that's sort of the idea. I'm opening it for the first time in Adelaide next week, which is exciting, and then bring it to Melbourne for a 2-week run.
So where did that idea come about for Butterfly? Because that sounds like an awesome concept.
It kind of started because I went to Europe last year, and I went to a clown school, and then went to Edinburgh for the first time, and sort of was joking with my comedy partner James McLennan, who also works on the Bombastic Joe stuff as well. And we were just joking about how I'm a genius now because I've been to Europe.
Yeah.
So it sort of grew out of that kind of idea of coming back from Europe and thinking you're a genius artist when you're probably still a bit of an idiot.
Yeah. So I've actually been talking to Callum Stratford on the show earlier, and he told us a little bit about that clown school and about how the person running that school is quite good at the insult and the heckle when you're performing to try and get the best out of you. Callum told us what the worst was that was said to him. What was the worst that was said to you?
Well, I'm curious what Cal said, because I'm wondering if Cal said the one where Philippe said he looked like Tintin, or maybe there was another one.
No, it was when he was on. If you were on holidays with this guy, would you want to have fun or would you want to kill yourself?
I don't think I copped anything too bad from him. But my favourite insult that he said in the class, I can't remember who he said it to. It might have been Cal actually, but he said, if you were standing and talking to your neighbour and you saw this guy walking past and he's your son, would you tell your neighbour, "Oh, that's my son, I'm really proud of him," or would you say nothing? It's interesting how he teaches. I think he's like a genius, like his whole sort of philosophy. And it's like what I was saying before about like any kind of performance. If you're on stage and you're having fun, that's like the most important thing for an audience, to see you having fun. It makes it more engaging, and that's definitely a philosophy that he teaches. So I really connected with his sort of philosophies on like, if you're performing on stage, like, we need to love you and you need to be happy to be there. Otherwise, what are we doing? So,
yep.
Yeah, really valuable stuff. Like, it's an amazing experience. And my mate Jeremiah, who I'm doing the kids show with, studied there for 2 years, and he's one of the best performers I know. He actually just won a weekly award in Adelaide. So
wow, yeah,
it pays to be berated by a French man.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about what it was like performing in Edinburgh as well, because that must have been quite an experience.
Oh, it was amazing. It was way bigger than I thought it was going to be. Just an incredible culture and vibe, and all these people. Just there's an even amount of audiences to performers, which I don't think is very similar at most Australian festivals. Usually, there's way more artists than there are people coming to see shows. Whereas in Edinburgh, there's so many people who were just there to see 4 or 5 shows in a day, and just an incredible atmosphere. And all the shows were really fun, and doing like 20 shows every day at 3:30 in the afternoon, but actually getting audiences, and it was a lot of fun and a great way to just get amongst it. And really, it's been described as a comedy boot camp.
Yeah,
I would definitely say that's what it felt like.
Definitely. Now, for our listeners out there, if you want to head along and check out Jon as part of Bombastic Joe in That's Not What I Ordered, you clearly didn't listen to me. That is on from the 2nd to the 7th of April as part of the Comedy Festival, 8:30 each night at the Grace Darling Hotel, and we'll put the links up on our website for those tickets. But Jon, can you tell us the dates and all the information too for Butterfly and stuff as well?
Yeah, so Butterfly is on 8th to the 14th of April. 8th to the 21st of April at 7:25 p.m. at Tasma Terrace. And then Stuff is on at 11 a.m. every day of the school holidays, so 29th of March to the 14th of April at Acme in the city. Awesome.
So, Jon, to finish off, what would you like to say to people out there who are thinking about, and we hope, heading along to all 3 of your shows?
If you want to come to all 3 shows, send me a message and I'll give you a deal, because I think there's a lot of shows to go see. I'll definitely be setting up discount codes for people who are going to multiple shows. And I think each show has their own sort of certain flavour, but every single one has a bit of Jon flavour in it. So if you're after some sweet Jon Walpole flavour, come to all 3.